to be able to go to bed at a
Decent time. Okay, we got it.
All right. So thank you again for coming. It's really cool to see people from all over the place. This is our second session of hacking meal planning, and we're going to learn about meal prepping. So this is a great opportunity to kind of teach you a little bit more about what we're going to talk about today. My name is Kimberly Bragg Armitraud, and I work for Hillsborough County Extension. And my friend, my cohort is who?
Andrea Nicolai, and I work for Polk County doing the same thing.
Yep. So we also have, the webinar, the Zoom information there in case you don't remember. Use the chat, or, I don't mind if you take off your mic and say hello, or if you have something to share during the presentation, just let us know or keep us posted and we'll watch that chat as well. So today we're going to be talking about going shopping, which is my favorite thing to do, by the way, prepping tips and tricks, getting creative with leftovers, and backup meals and solutions. So we'll be talking about those today. Next, okay, so part one, we're going to review a little bit about what we talked about last week, just in case you missed our class. So last week we talked about benefits of meal planning, how to save money, time, food waste, and less stress. We talked about keeping in mind the My Plate demonstration. That's a very visual way to show if you're getting a full nutritious meal. And we started with meal planning, how you get started. What is the first steps we should do? Inventorying first, what do you have on hand? What do you need to still get? We talked about plan your base on what you need to use, what you already have. Look for those sales and tips for saving money, and looking for things that are having on hand in your staple foods of things that your family likes, so that you know that with these certain ingredients that you have all the time, you'll be able to throw together a healthy meal for your family. And for me, and my children are like, I don't know if you heard, but my children are older, so now I just have those things available so they also can make their favorite meals really quickly. Plan for leftovers. Know how much leftovers you're going to have so you can plan for those meals. And you always want to change them up, right? You don't want to have chicken and rice every single day. So if you make chicken, what else can we do with that chicken? We can put a chicken pot pie or make chicken salad. Actually, I just heard somebody yesterday make a wonderful chicken salad, and it was with chicken salad. Instead of mayo, they used avocado. Oh, it sounded really yummy. I can't wait to make it. So again, using those, learning new tricks and things like that about different things that you can do with foods that might be going to waste. All right, next slide. So make a list. So we talked a little bit about that last week. That is your sword, and for you to get into the grocery store and be safe. I always tell people you have to have that thing on hand, have your list, so you know what to get and you're not distracted by all those other things, the sale items and things that they make for you. You're not distracted. Have that list on hand. That's your sword. Make sure you inventory before you go home, looking in the refrigerator, freezer, pantry, and then remember all those staples that you want to make sure you have, because those staples really can get you out of a pinch if you need to make a quick meal. All right, next. So going shopping. So how do we shop? Well, there is actually a technique to shopping, believe it or not. Some people are like, oh, I just go to the grocery store. Well, there's actually a technique. And the first thing we want to do is look at those outside perimeters. That's where you're going to have the healthier options, the fruits, the vegetables, the dairy, the meats, the proteins. That's where they're going to keep all those wonderful things that we need to make sure we're having in our diet. However, I always tell people this because they seem to forget. There's two items or two areas on that perimeter that we should probably try to stay away from. Does anybody know what those are? Go ahead and put those in the chat if you know it's two items or two areas I'm talking about. They always have them on the perimeter. Oh, there you go, Amy. You got it right off, both of them. The bakery and the deli, right? People seem to like, well, they're on the perimeter, so I guess they're healthy. No, they're usually not. But, everything with moderation, right? We can have everything we want as long as we have control over our portion sizes. But they do entice us, right? So we have to be really careful with those two areas. So shop the outside perimeter. Consider the inside if you have that list. Again, that list is going to save you, because when you go up and down those aisles, that's where you're going to find the brownies and the cookies and the crackers and all the salad dressings and all those things that we probably should really try to stay away from. stay away from as and being enticed by the ones that aren't so healthy. But if we have the list, we know which ones are healthy and which ones we're going to buy, then we're going to be golden. But if you don't, that's when you start seeing all those sale items and everything kind of entices you to buy. And then we talked about skipping the bakery and the deli, those areas. We want to make sure we kind of stay away from those as much as possible. All right, next slide. So going shopping. So compare prices. We want to make sure that we are buying store brands, check for unit prices. Sometimes a name brand might be cheaper than a non-name brand, right? If you are comparing those unit prices, that's when you're going to find. We're going to talk a little bit about what a unit price is in case you don't know. It took me a while to learn how to use those. And sometimes it makes me mad because I know they're not right. I don't think the stores always keep them accurate. So that kind of irritates me a little bit. But I also taught my son, he's 19, and now he knows how to read the unit prices as well, which is a great, a learning skill for him to be able to go forward with when he moves out on his own. Watch the register to make sure that the prices are coming up the way they should be. I mean, they're computers, they make mistakes, right? So sometimes the information wasn't changed or the sale item might not come there. I've had that happen several times. So kind of pay attention to those prices when they're scanned. Invest in staple foods like canned vegetables, tuna, sausage, and things that when they're on sale. So when you're looking through your sale paper or you're looking through your apps, look for those things that you're going to use all the time and buy them when they're on sale. So then when you can stock up a little and you don't have to buy them when they're not on sale. I actually was talking to a friend and she's really good at this and I need to learn better from her. But she was talking about how Publix will rotate their sale items. So she always knows when something's going to come back on sale by the rotation that they have. So if you pay attention, I guess that these foods will go into rotations. Interesting. I don't know exactly how she learned that, but I got to pay attention to that a little bit more. Save money by washing it and chopping it yourself. Sometimes it depends. Okay, so I have a family, so sometimes it's faster to buy the chopped onion. If I want, so I'm trying to figure out my valuable time versus my money value. So sometimes you have to look at that. Is my time more valuable right now than the money I'm going to spend, or can I save this money because I have the time to be able to prep it myself? And then read the nutritional fact labels is also very important because we want to make sure that we are getting the healthiest foods for our money. Next. So here's that unit pricing that we were talking about. So has anybody used this? Did anybody pay attention to this unit pricing? Anybody? You do, Andrea? Good, I do too. Yeah, for sure. Anybody else out there? No? Nobody's answering, so I'm assuming they might not use it. Well, this is your opportunity to save some money. So you can see that on these two items, the Cheerios for both of them, if you buy them in different sizes, one's a 10 ounce on the left, on my left, I think that's your left as well, and then the 15 ounce on the other side. And then for the 10 ounce, it's 0.285. Price, right? And then per ounce. And then on the right side, it's 0.263 on the other side. And you're looking at a little over $1 difference there. So we want to make sure that we're getting the best value. So buying the 15 ounce is going to be better than buying the 10 ounce by a little bit, but not by a whole lot, by a little bit though. So you just have to make sure that you are getting the best value. So here's the breakdown. Cost per unit price is the cost equals cents. The units is the ounces. Then the cost divided by the quantity. Total cost of box is $3.95, 15 ounces box of Cheerios. So you can 15 ounces for 0.263. So in case the unit price doesn't look right, because sometimes they'll do it by, they don't always do it by ounces. Sometimes they'll do it by something else, or whoever buys toilet paper by ounces, which is really frustrating. So you have to figure that out differently. But you can always see which one's going to come out a little bit better for you by dividing it out in case it's not correct. So I
You had a
have
lot
two.
of people join with you that said they use them now, and then Angelina said they don't have them in Singapore, so she has to figure it out herself. And Amy was just agreeing with you too that sometimes like the shelf labels are really hard to read. I know they are, especially when there's sales. It's like then
Mhm.
you're like, okay, now it's on sale. Is it a better deal now? Because
Yeah,
sometimes they don't put the unit thing, but
that's true. Or they change it to something different, which doesn't really make sense. Like, okay, toilet paper, I guess I'm going to be buying it by the piece, right? And I'm like, buy ounces. That's confusing. But anyways, I was at Sam's Club the other day, and I was trying to figure out between two items, and I forgot my phone in the car. I'm like, oh man, how am I going to figure out? Because their pricing was wrong. So I'm like, that's definitely not right. So I asked the guy, I'm like, do you have a phone? He's like, yeah. I'm like, can you divide this out for me and tell me how much this is? He wasn't very happy with me, but he did it. But he was like, he goes, it tells you right there. I'm like, but that's wrong. So that you need to do it again. So, anyways, so let's see, going shopping. I don't know what slide I'm on, Andrea. I lost track. So just
okay, I think I'm on 12.
okay, perfect. So going shopping. So again, choosing fruits and vegetables that are in season is going to save you money. So make sure that you are trying to find things that are in season. I buy strawberries all year, and I finally had to tell my daughter I'm not buying them anymore because they got so expensive, and she couldn't understand why, why I'm not buying them until she had to go buy them herself, and then she realized that the prices do go up when they go out of season. So, needless to say, we don't buy strawberries when they're out of season anymore because she won't spend the money. So that's on her. So don't go shopping when you're hungry. We've always heard that you want to make sure that you're not hungry. I even had one lady tell me she'd always keep a snack in her car, a granola bar, nuts, or something. So when she had to stop, for something on the way home, she would, eat something really quickly before she would run in because she knew she would overbuy if she didn't. So I thought that was really kind of cute, a cute idea because she knew herself well enough. And then stick to that list. Again, that's your sword. That's cutting you through all that stuff you don't need. So hold on to that. Hold on to that sword and get to the grocery store safely. The odds of going to the store for a loaf of bread and coming out with only a loaf of bread are 3 billion to 1. That's me. That's always me. I definitely always overbuy for sure. All right, next. Prepping. Okay, so I'll tell you a little bit about prepping, and Andrea's going to finish us off with the prepping. But prepping is well, you have to prep. I mean, you have to get your food ready in order for you to make healthy meals and not have to waste a lot of time during the week trying to figure out what you're doing. So take the time to cut things up. Bite-sized pieces. You want to start cutting things up. Start with the food that needs the most time on the stove or the oven. So cook your dry beans ahead of time, cook your rice ahead of time, your oatmeal, your noodles for the week. Get all that stuff out of the way. I have a big container right now sitting in my refrigerator, no lie, of rice. A big old fat container. Dry because I give it to my dogs, my children eat it, I eat it, everybody eats it. So we make it on Sunday and we have it for all week because it's gone actually it's almost gone today. So by today's Thursday, I made it on Sunday, it's almost gone. So definitely get those things that take a long time to get them out of the way and have a bunch of it. And do everything that you can in one pan. If I'm going to roast vegetables for the week, I'm going to roast all my vegetables. But, I'm going to get that large pan. I'm going to get them all chopped and on that pan and go ahead and do that. That goes with pan frying, sauteing, whatever you need to do. Try to get it all done in that same pan so you're not constantly having to clean all week long. Next. Also cut all your vegetables. So my daughter's been getting a really good habit about doing this too. She'll go grocery shopping, she'll come home with her vegetables. She immediately chops them up. We'll put them in containers. We'll have them ready. So that way they're done. We don't have to worry about it. If we want to make scrambled eggs, we need those peppers and onions. Just have to grab them out of the container and throw them in whatever we're making. Let the slow cooker help you. We have Instapots now, slow cookers, air fryers, all those wonderful equipments that they put out there. They're helpful. They do help us with making our meals faster. So take advantage of those. You don't need to prep full meals, keeping it simple, right? So just do the basics, get all those big things out of the way, have everything ready, and then you're good, then you'll be good for the week. Even small steps like cooking the rice, tossing some chicken, in the slow cooker or chopping some of your vegetables will help out a lot. And like I said, at my house, I have that rice already in there. We can make tons of things with rice. I have chicken already in there. I fry up some hamburger, it's already in there. So those containers are just sitting there for somebody to use them and make whatever they want. There's lots of options for them to make their meals. Next. And this is 13 or 14.
We're good. Yeah.
Okay, go on, Andrea. You hit it.
I was just gonna say too, Kimberly, like I do the same thing you do. I have a grain every week, and so I'll just make one so I can like mix it up. So I'd have like quinoa this week. Last week I had like farro and then millet. I'm trying to like really mix up all the whole grains, and so I'll eat that actually for breakfast. It's like like a hot cereal instead of
Yeah,
oatmeal sometimes, and then I'll just also use it if I want something like a Buddha bowl at dinner time or something like that. And then
yeah,
do the same thing with the protein too, try to have some beans in there, some kind of bean, and then maybe a chicken or like something like that, but all ready. And I have a lot of friends, more than one, who do the roasting of the vegetables. So they either roast vegetables like just a big sheet pan of them, and then they can put them in different things like those bowls or in eggs or in quesadillas, because they're already all cooked and mixed up. And another friend does them grilled. So if you like grilling, that could be a fun way to do it too. I was just going to say, I would love to hear in the chat what you guys have found works, because I think, sometimes like I learned from Kimberly, so I'm guessing you guys might have really good ideas also. But just thinking in prepping, then using one thing multiple ways. So like cutting and sauteing bell pepper for tomato sauce, pizza topping, tacos, enchiladas, and then having like the brown rice or quinoa for a side dish, grain bowls, soups, casseroles, or tacos. Like you really can use that rice for a ton of things. And then chicken breast for, you kind of get the idea. So
yeah. That's
that's
great.
that. I was thinking, yeah,
Yeah.
keep food safety in mind. So, just does anyone know the safe temperature for cooking chicken? So even if you cook it in the Instant Pot, ideally when it opens the lid, you want to check it, because then you want to make sure you keep your family safe. Yes, way to go, Amy. 165. Does anyone know what the temperature of ground beef should be? Like if you have a hamburger, like if you want to check that just to make sure you're good to go. What do you guys think? Any guesses? Okay, it's a little bit lower. 145, not that low. So Amy's got it for fish. Fish is 145. So hamburger actually should be 160. So that's kind of nice, because then you don't have to like, is it like too pink or not pink? I guess, but chicken and turkey, if you can remember, they fly high. They're like birds, even though neither of them fly, but you get the idea. Like you can think birds fly high, so 165, and then everything else is lower than that. So that's like ground beef and pork. When it's ground, that's why it has to be 160. If it's in like a steak, then it can be lower. So just keep that in mind, and then cool food rapidly and things like that. So don't leave, like once you cook the chicken in the Instant, don't leave it on the counter for all day and then put it in the fridge. Just wait till put it in containers so it can cool, and then get it in there so you keep you safe. Okay, so then just also having containers ready, freezing meals if needed. You just want to be able to kind of think about when you're going to be busy that coming week, and like when am I going to need some help? And, somebody mentioned, she switches to frozen fruit when the season is over. And it can also help if you just kind of run out of fruit, just having some frozen or canned in the cupboards. Freezing meals, right? So putting soups and stews in like muffin tins, or freezing, then you can pop them in like a bag when they're hardened. Then you can just have like the individual ones. You could do meatloaf, the same thing. Having the labels with the directions so you know how to reheat it. And I have to tell you too, that's one of my friends' fridge on the right there. And I just was so impressed. I was like, can I take a picture of that? Because she has it so that, she's going to reach for the things that are readily available. So she has that celery, do you see it on the top left? And then she has some hummus in one of the containers, but she just kind of has all the fruits and vegetables kind of ready to go. And so she tries to have a fruit salad with a lot of meals and, vegetables. And so now she can just add them to whatever. So I thought that was really cool. I was like, it does make you want to just grab a celery. So storing things at eye level too, like, in the grocery store, they do that as a trick. So like to get you to buy stuff is they put Have you ever noticed the kids' cereals are like on the eye level with the cart so that they can see them right when you're going by? So I guess trying to do that same thing with the fridge at your house too. So you're like, whatever I see at eye level. So that's why sometimes it's not always the best idea to put produce in the drawer because you might not see it. Okay, so saving money and then just keeping food safe. So rotate this stuff. I don't know about you, but sometimes you end up with stuff like, you put the stuff you just had in the front, but you got to rotate it out so that you can save money. Because if you're throwing away food, that's using some of your money. Raspberries, they are one of the most perishable fruits. And so if you've ever bought raspberries, you know what I'm talking about. But those, like, you want to keep on the front and just use with a few days. Otherwise, you'll miss them. General rule for food storage. So 3 days on salads and seafood and up to 5 days on cooked meats and vegetables. So you realize like that's possible. Then you might have to, at the end of the week, supplement with some canned, or you might have to do a mini prep again. Or you can start using frozen stuff, but just kind of trying to pay attention to the time because then you can use everything that you have. And then we talked about this like 17 times, but using leftovers and using things multiple ways is so helpful, like kind of like the rice thing that Kimberly said, but getting a little creative. So there's like mashed potato pancakes, muffins, shepherd's pie. Somebody in one of my classes, she's like, I have a ton of mashed potatoes, and the class was just giving her ideas on stuff you can do. And it's nice we have the internet now, like we can search stuff. I actually came across there's a rice cream, so it's like ice cream made out of rice, Kimberly. So
Oh, I like that.
extra. Yes, it was actually good even with brown rice. So enjoying leftovers for lunch or breakfast, having fun, like, and then somebody else in my class, he said he just takes like towards the end of the week all the grains that he has and like all the vegetables, and he puts an egg with them and tops it with cheese and makes like a casserole, and he calls it like leftover supreme. But he said everybody like that's their favorite meal. So I guess there's an idea. You take like the Chinese leftovers, the Italian leftovers. No, I'm just kidding. You never know. I never know. Okay. And then another friend, she has an eat me drawer. So she uses a drawer and she always makes herself look there first. It's like little bits of stuff that she has left, so you can add it in stuff. Gal, I see. Yeah, Amy does eggs in the muffin tin with leftover veggies. That's a really good one because they're already cooked, and that's what you'd want for those eggs. Okay, so remember to rotate foods in the fridge and make sure the oldest is in front and keep aware of what you need to use first and make sure that, like use the grocery list to help you use up the leftovers. So like if I had 1,000 apples and I already had some nuts and I was like, I should make apple nachos. And so I need peanut butter. So then I went to the store and get some peanut butter and that'll help you use up all that stuff. Um, and then here's some couple of recipes using staples. So these are things like towards the end of the week when you're don't have maybe as much fresh ideas and maybe you've already tried like your new recipe of the week, but you just need something quick. I don't know. Can you guys tell me if you guys have quick recipes, meal ideas that you use? And I know I'm cognizant of time, so I'll wrap it up here. But just if you guys have staple recipes that you go to when you need a quick, healthy meal, I would love to know. So like grain bowls, baked ziti, the egg one is really awesome because you can do it without a crust and you just mix eggs and a little bit of milk if you want. And then you can put a little bit of cheese and a ton of vegetables, maybe some meat in there, and you can make kind of like a quiche without that. So then just another one is shashuka. Sometimes I forget about this one, and it's so good. You guys, it's just you take pasta sauce. So you could use a jar if you want, jar of pasta sauce. You heat it up and you break eggs into there. And then the eggs cook in the pasta sauce, and you just cook them kind of, I guess, over easy, or you can cook them however hard you want. But you can take it off. You can add spinach if you want into there, chickpeas, and then you can top it with feta and you serve it with like a bread, and it's really good. And it's only okay, so it just needs like eggs and tomato sauce, so that's something, if you have somebody coming over quick, you can have that fun meal. They make a lot in the Middle East. Okay. Oh, so Amy says, yeah. Okay, Kimberly, that's really good with the scrambled eggs and just toss everything in there. That's smart. And then Amy said she does like chicken quesadillas or fajitas, Waldorf salad. Okay, a lot of chicken. That's really good. That's cool though, because it's like you do multiple things. And then here I just have a couple more slides, but just here were some ideas from others. I kind of went around and did a poll with a bunch of people, and I just wrote down kind of what I thought some of the most helpful ones were. Ideas from others, like, so they said when they're needing some food, tomatoes, soup, and bread. that's like what she goes to. It's like you got some vegetable with that soup, and some bread, and that egg and cheese sandwich, scrambled eggs with random veggies, uses the fridge stuff before it goes bad, and also can do it with like sweet potatoes. So he's saying, somebody else said my go-to is rice, whole grain rice and peas, rice and edamame, rice and lima beans. It's like wash one pan, one spoon, one plate, and one fork. So that's an idea. And then here's just one more of the same type of thing. Does a big batch of quinoa. She sweetens for breakfast and then adds it veggies for dinner. That's kind of similar to what I do. Leftover meat too. Salmon cakes, always easy, and kids like them a lot. I have a coworker who makes this low carb pizza casserole that's her go-to. She does cauliflower rice, so she has it frozen in the freezer. She'll take it out, put it on the bottom of the dish. She adds marinara sauce and then like shredded cheese and Italian seasoning and whatever, like if she has vegetables or little meats left over, and then she bakes it. And she said her family loves it. So just, I guess, an idea that would help you get more vegetables, thinking about the cauliflower on the bottom. And so that's all we have. And thanks for sticking with us an extra 5 minutes. Does anybody have any questions or other ideas that they would like to add? I see Rebecca said rice bowl with veggies, kimchi. Oh man, that would be good. And egg. Yes. I do those bowls a lot, and for some reason I hadn't really thought of kimchi. So does anyone else have any other ideas or
It's
questions?
funny that those bowls, you can put anything in a bowl. I mean, it's basically a bowl. Just fill it up. And I find that we get rid of a lot of food that way. Just having, as long as you have that grain and that protein, and the veggies, everything just kind of goes together. So
yeah, and it fits the my plate, only it's in a bowl, and it's kind of fun to eat.
Exactly.
I have another friend who makes a peanut sauce. It's just like peanut butter, and you thin it with rice wine vinegar and a little bit of soy sauce. And then you can add like garlic and ginger. You can put a little bit of water to make it thinner, but you kind of heat up the peanut butter to make it soft. But that on grain bowls, like with chicken or whatever, like you could eat any veggie with that stuff.
Yeah, that sounds good. That sounds really
like
good.
Peanut butter goodness. Thank you guys all.
Yep.
She said pasta for a quick meal and loads of salad for vegetable patch. Sounds like she would be a good neighbor to have. Thank you guys so much for staying. Thank you.
Thank you, Andrea, for helping.
Thanks, Kimberly. Have a good day.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye.